Today's shootout is between three high-performance, three-way coaxial speakers, the Kef R3, KEF Reference 1, and the ELAC Adante AS-61. Coaxial speakers have the advantage of uniform dispersion because the mid-range and tweeter are emitting sound from the same point in space, which has excellent imaging advantages. However, there is a downside to this design. Because the mid-range driver is operating as the waveguide for the tweeter, any cone movement can cause changes in the frequency response of the tweeter. This phenomenon is known as Doppler distortion. The way to avoid this is to limit the excursion of the mid-range by adding a woofer and switching it to a three-way design. A three-way coaxial also has a size advantage over a traditional cone and dome speaker, as it has a footprint no longer larger than a traditional two-way. The Kef R3 is a $2,000 a pair speaker, although it can be found on sale occasionally in the $1,500 price range. It's a medium-sized bookshelf speaker at about 1,700 cubic inches and quite hefty at just under 30 pounds. Many of the technologies in the R3 come from the much higher priced reference series, such as the newest UniQ driver with a shadow flare trim ring designed to reduce diffraction. Here are the measurements of the R3 in Room EQ Wizard and Dirac Live. This is an extremely neutral speaker with slightly downward sloping output with very extended treble extension. Most 1-inch dome tweeters will start losing their high frequency response above 7K unless measured with the microphone directly in front of the tweeter. However, Kef's patented Tangerine waveguide is meant to extend the response from 7 to 15K to produce a very open and airy sound. The ELAC Adante AS-61 has a MSRP of $2,500. However, recently the price has dropped to around $1,500 a pair, with rumors that it may become discontinued soon. This is quite a large speaker at 2,900 cubic inches, nearly 70% larger than the Kef R3, and weighs in at over 35 pounds. While the R3 looks subdued, the Addante exudes luxury with a aluminum front plate that has a slightly rough anodized looking finish and a spiderweb shaped acoustic lens. The KEF Reference 1 is the most expensive at a MSRP of $8,000. It's between the size of the Addante and the R3 at 2,300 cubic inches, and the heaviest at 40 pounds. The Reference 1 has an aluminum front plate like the Addante, which helps reduce vibrations in the front baffle. It has a similar UniQ configuration as the R3, a 1-inch tweeter embedded in a 5-inch coaxial mid-range driver. However, here it has a larger 6.5-inch woofer rather than the 6-inch woofer of the R3. This, along with the larger cabinet size, gives it more bass extension than the R3. Here are the frequency response plots in Dirac Live and Room EQ Wizard of the three pairs of speakers. The soft dome tweeter of the Addante rolls off at about 8K or so, whereas it appears that Kef's UniQ extends much higher, which appears to fulfill the claims Kef makes about the Tangerine waveguide extending treble response from 7 to 15K when measured off axis. Since high frequencies are extremely directional, unless the microphone is directly in front of the tweeter, most tweeters will naturally roll off once you go above 7 or 8 kilohertz. All three put out a very large and vast soundstage. The Kef Reference 1 has a very pleasing rolled off tonality, while the R3 is the most neutral. The Addante has the most limited frequency range, being the most bass shy, and also amplifying the vocal range more than the other speakers. Out of the three, I feel the R3 is the most accurate. The Reference 1 is the most easy to listen to, and the Addante sounds the most forward of the three, with the best vocal intelligibility, but sounding comparatively cold and lacking bass. and also lacking some high frequency extension, not sounding as airy as the two KEFs. Between the three speakers, my favorite here is the Reference 1. It's the warmest speaker with the most bass extension, and everything sounds good on them because it's slightly rolled off on the top. Although not everyone will like the sound signature, especially those who want more detail up top. They also have the best aesthetics, looking like some 60s stainless steel space age design, although the looks aren't for everyone. I'd give the Reference 1 a 9 out of 10, given that it's a great speaker, albeit a little pricey. Although even at its price point, it still stands out as one of the best stand mount monitors. The R3s might be better for someone who prefers a brighter speaker, a speaker that's more extended in the highs. It's also the smallest speaker here, and some people may prefer their more simple aesthetic design versus the Reference 1. The R3s are worth a 9 out of 10, given their value and all of the technology from the Reference series that's come down at an affordable price. These speakers are giant killers. The Addante seems the most niche speaker here. Their gigantic size and lack of bass or high treble extension makes them good for movies and vocals primarily, and have ample dynamics, but really need to be paired with a subwoofer to get the most out of them. Compared to the KEFs, their lack of treble extension make them sound less spacious, and the vocals, while clear, is a little shouty. The saving grace here is the closeout price of $1,500 makes them quite a good value. I would give these a 8 out of 10 given these constraints.